Queens. 1 minute you're in some stereotypical idea of why it is that you don't live in Queens. But the next, you're not even in America. You've disappeared down some delicious rabbit hole. You find yourself in Hong Kong or Beijing, like here in Flushing, where a few feet above or below street level, and you find yourself in Henan, Tianjin, or Xi'an. Where even your Chinese friends, like my friend Chris Chung here, often don't speak the language or the dialect.
People speak Mandarin in this neighborhood?
Yeah, mostly.
So you speak Cantonese?
Cantonese.
Mandarin, no.
Mandarin, no.
You're on the case, though. All right.
Fortunately, Chris brought his friend Ming along, who'll be guiding us through the Golden Shopping Mall, a warren of vendors selling all sorts of mysterious and tasty specialties from all across China. A short walk through the mall and I come across something I've never seen before. Certainly not in New York, in fact, not even in China. This eerily, well, French-German pig's feet dish and, stranger and more wonderful still, head cheese Chinese style. So what do we eat here?
I think we're gonna try the pig foot
Yes.
and the head cheese.
Okay, great. This food looks French. I think this is an example of great cooking cultures end up thinking alike.
That's exactly it.
Sooner or later, any great cooking culture is going to end up cooking like the Chinese.
Right. And also Tianjin is a port, so food-wise, they're very
So
open-minded.
this food is from Tianjin.
Tianjin, yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting. This is great. Is this traditionally Chinese, this dish?
Yeah.
Ah, there we go.
Ooh.
There you go. This looks really good. Pig's foot. No, that's fantastic.
One of those feet cooking at its best, you know?
Well, a lot of traditional Western cultures, this is fundamental. And people have just kind of forgotten about these textures.
Yeah.
And this is something that's coming back big time, I think.
Coming back, but it was always there, you know?
It was always there, but people who remember this dish in their childhood don't ever want to see it again. They feel a little embarrassed about it. Rich people who never had it are discovering it like it's the greatest thing ever, you know?
I believe anything from a pig is good for you anyway.
So good. This is great. I'm loving this. This place is wild, though, man. I love this. This is what Manhattan's missing.
这个跟这个看起来很像。
But it's this lamb burger that hits me right in the pleasure zone. Great in any language or any culture. Crisp chunks of lamb seasoned with cumin, dressed with hot peppers and pickled jalapenos.
This had to be like a Muslim thing, right? The flat bread. Yeah.
There's a big Muslim community in Xi'an, which is where this dish
Right.
from.
This place is unbelievable. This place is great. I've never had anything like this before. I mean, I've tasted these flavors, but I've never had this within the framework of Chinese, with that mix. This is really great.
Yeah, I can see this in Chinatown in Manhattan, or even Brooklyn. This is a Queens thing, you know?
Yeah.
Back through the mall and up the stairs, you find a lamb noodle shop, where the noodles for each bowl of soup are hand-pulled right in front of you. The working of the dough creating something extremely delicate and deceptively light. Something that texturally complements the fattiness and richness of the lamb.
So, house specialty, lamb noodles, right? We know what we want.
Yeah.
3.
对，3碗。
3碗面。
哎。
OK。
The lamb noodle is the most famous dish in Zhengzhou City, and their weather is pretty much like New York. So they change a little bit in terms of the herb to balance the nature of the
Right, because in Chinese cooking, foods are assigned hot or cold properties.
Yeah.
Doesn't have anything to do with the temperature necessarily, but the...
Yeah, but it's the qi, internal
Right.
qi.
Masterfully hand-pulled noodles, lamb meat, all swimming in a milky broth which is complemented by fragrant vegetables and herbs such as cilantro, lily buds, Chinese wolfberries, and black tree fungus. A little spice brings all these ingredients together.
Wow, that looks good. Here we go.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, man. Tastes wonderful. Really fresh. It's very unique. I haven't had anything like it.
Yeah, it's really good. And it looks heavy, but it's really light.
Yeah, it's really light.
When you go from region to region in China, the food is so different from place to place.
You know, noodle pulling from this region is a hard find in Chinatown. Real hard find. You have to come up to Flushing to get this food.
Most people know about Manhattan's Chinatown. It's where I used to go as a kid to get my Southern Cantonese and gringofied faux Chinese. You can now more easily find the real thing there, of course.
The Chinese community in New York has changed a lot since when I was a kid.
There's a lot of good stuff happening in Chinatown, although probably won't be there for too much longer. You know, Chinatown's shrinking, you know.
Well, it'll all be hipsters moving in.
That's exactly what it's going to be. You're going to have to get used to Flushing. You're going to have to get used to Bay Ridge. That's what Chinatown's going to be.
Making a Queens joke these days says more about the teller than the subject. Because it's Queens, if you're looking for sheer volume, the big mix, where the real action is. Back in Queens at the Ganesha Temple in Flushing.
My name is Dr. Uma Mysurekar. I'm the president of the Hindu Temple Society of North America, located in Flushing, Queens. The bathing of the Lord Ganesha, this is a ritual that is done every week. And it is believed that each of these nutrients brings health, wealth, prosperity, peace of mind to the devotees watching it. In a way, it is a meditation.
Hindus travel from all over the tri-state area to worship at this temple. But also, it's a restaurant, serving up classic vegetarian South Indian food.
Offering is a must. In our Hinduism, it says, you will not get the punya, that is the full grace of the Lord, without an offering of food. And so it is a must. Now, in addition to that, it is fulfilling the stomach of the devotees because they get their spiritual hunger fulfilled here, then they go back and get their real hunger fulfilled.
You'd think that the combination of a religious component and a vegetarian menu would be anathema to me. But you'd be wrong. Because in the cellar of Ganesha Temple in Flushing, it's not just some half-assed canteen. It's a widely known and well-respected cult favorite. A place you'll find some very tasty, relentlessly authentic Indian food. I know this, by the way, only because I got it from impeccable authority, which would be these guys. Floyd Cardoz, chef of the justifiably famous Tabla restaurant in Manhattan, and his wife, Barca.
Wow. This is serious food here.
So what are you gonna get?
I'll have whatever you tell me.
Okay. One Mysore masala, one paper dosa, one upma, idiyappam, one idli, one vada, one rava masala. And what else we're missing?
We said the
One Mitzi belly one.
Great, what are we drinking? Should I some coffees?
Yeah.
I have no idea what Floyd just ordered, but the smells and sound in the kitchen are fantastic. And the ambiance leads one to believe that it's all gonna turn out okay.
This is like a spiced rice, bisi bili baat.
And this is what, lentils or?
This is spiced rice. These are what they call medu vadas, which are fried dumplings.
Right.
Anything fried is always good.
Yes.
So it's right.
This is delicious. See, if all those hippies in Berkeley cooked vegetarian like this, I would eat their food. You know, this is flavorful. It does, and it also doesn't try to fake meat.
If you eat a meal like this with multiple textures and flavors, you don't really miss the meat. And that's what makes it exciting.
Wow, how do they do it?
This is called a dosa.
A dosa, which I've actually had many times before, is made from a batter of ground fermented grain rice, spread on a griddle and cooked like a crepe. Eaten plain, or with any number of spicy fillings called masalas, it's an essential South Indian dish.
Good Lord.
Get this one before it gets
Okay,
hot.
just
break it.
This is delicious. So you've been here a few times?
We come here at least once a month,
Once a month.
because this is comparable, or if not better, to what you could get in India.
So what do you think the biggest misconception of Indian food is?
It's too spicy, and it's always something that they can't identify. Indian food is very, very seasonal, and it could vary. Like this has got absolutely no heat in it at all,
Right.
whereas this has some heat to it.
This is really good. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, a commissary-looking place in a cellar of a temple, one would be forgiven for having low expectations. But, you know, this is good stuff.
Ivan gives food tours of Manila.
You get a lot of things here which has somehow vanished in Manila's restaurants,
Right.
but you still find it right here in this part of town.
And he's taking me to the oldest Chinatown in the world for some baseline Philippine favorites, dating back to pre-Spanish times, and some early components of the food puzzle.
So, first time to the Philippines.
Yes, it is. I'm already learning the method of crossing the street. It's all about momentum and commitment, right? It's better if you just close your eyes, I notice.
Chinatown is big. It's actually a district. And it's as old as our city, so it's about 400 years old, when streets are clustered based on specific trades. This street, this is Gold Street. And then the street which we're going to is Food Street. So this is kind of like one big foodie place. A very Chicken balls, yeah, very, very popular street food in Manila. So what you want to do is you just get a stick and just poke.
Just help yourself, huh?
Yeah, just help yourself. And you only dip once though in the sauce. So
Right, you don't want to double dip.
Yes, no double dipping. So you put vinegar, and this is the spicy one.
Yum. That's
Yeah.
even delicious.
Yep,
You don't want to slip though and put your hand into the oil. That would not be good.
that's bad. That's really bad.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
Yep.
I love these things, the little mini buses here.
The Jeeps. They've actually toned down a bit. Used to be all gaudy and colorful with horses and all that. That's breakfast for us.
What is that?
It's tofu. Kind of like tofu with tapioca syrup.
Kind of like mapo in bean curd form.
If you look at that fire truck, it's called purple. Because the guy who owns that made it big selling purple cakes. He has two things he's passionate about in life. Making his pastries and being a fireman. So we have pancit.
Pancit just means noodles, right?
Yes, pancit can mean anything. So what we're about to have today is, it's called Panit Palabok. Basically, rice noodles cooked in, you know, annatto seeds?
Annatto seeds.
Yeah.
So a little of everything?
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Got a little egg.
That's pork rind.
Pork rind. Oh, yeah, plenty of that. Yeah. A little scallion. Of course. And this is
Garlic.
toasted garlic.
Toasted garlic.
They're short noodles.
Yes, they are.
Thank you. No, again, there's a sour.
You have to
in here.
taste that calamansi.
Calamansi is a small citrus fruit that looks like a tiny lime and tastes like a slightly bitter tangerine. It's ubiquitous here, adding a sour component to many dishes.
Good. This will hold you till lunch.
And this is a snack.
Really. Excellent. Actually, not the greatest thing ever for me,
Right, right.
but good.
Yeah.
Our last stop, a combination food court and wet market, something the Filipinos call a dampa. You buy your fish or meat and produce on the market side, picking out whatever you like, and then you get these guys to turn them into a meal for you, any way you like.
What are we shopping for?
We're getting stuff for a very, very typical Filipino vegetable dish, which we call pinakbet. This is bitter gourd.
Long
This one,
bean.
Squash. And eggplants, okra. That's it.
So what else are we having for this meal?
Crabs in coconut milk and adobo shrimps.
Ah, finally, adobo.
We're looking for live shrimps, live ones. Oh, wow, look at those fishes. Still jumping.
Oh, yeah, they're in good shape.
Kalahati lang. So these are shrimps, crabs.
You like these? Where do they come from?
Up north.
Up north, they're local.
Yeah, they're local. Everything's local here.
Let's do it.
Let's have lunch. So when you take it there, they give you a choice on how you actually want it to be cooked.
Right. And how are we going?
We're going local, of course.
Filipino way, all the way.
Yeah, all the way. This one, adobo, shrimps, and coconut milk. What I chose are actually dishes which are representative of certain regions.
Okay.
So the vegetable dish comes from the north. The coconut crabs comes from the south.
Right. North, it's a fairly bitter dish.
Yes.
The south, kind of spicy.
Yes.
And the adobo?
coconut milk. Adobo is
That's everywhere,
that's
right?
a national dish. So you can adobo anything: chicken, pork, shrimps, even vegetables.
I'm endlessly fascinated with this sort of geographical part of the world. A lot of this is strangely familiar and yet all new.
Right.
I'm still struggling, by the way, to try to kind of figure out how to describe Filipino cuisine. Okay, I've got the Malay, the Chinese influences. Maybe one of the misapprehensions I made is looking for Spanish influence.
Right.
When in fact there's more of like a new world.
Right, exactly.
Spain by way of South America
By
and
way of Mexico, really. It's quite literally a melting pot.
It's really melted.
Right.
I guess that's just not easy for me to put my thumb on it and say,
Right.
here's what the Philippines are. Oh, here we go.
Kanin, dalawa.
So it's a vegetable dish. What's it called again?
It's called pinakbet.
Pinakbet.
Yes. It's gourd, beans, squash, okra, tossed together with shrimp paste. They're very crunchy, bitter, you know, salty taste to it.
Uh-huh. Was there chicken in there or something?
It's pork.
Pork, all right.
Yep.
All vegetables are better with a little pork.
Right. I agree.
Oh, that's really tasty.
Yeah.
I like the bitter melon, the bitter gourd.
Very good.
You know, as part of a mix, it's nice.
Here comes the crab. Oh, wow. This is the ultimate. It's crabs and coconut milk with chilies.
Right.
Very typical dish from the South. Okay?
I'm taking this first. I'm just gonna get in there and
The roll. How can you go wrong with coconut milk? You cannot. It's always good.
I like this because it's not sweet or cloying.
Right.
You can't be afraid to work for your food. You got to get right in there with your fingers.
And the roll. This is the best part.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
So I guess in a way, our cuisine is still evolving. I mean, after 500 years, we still got new ingredients coming in.
Now, what does adobo mean?
Adobo is anything that's cooked with soy sauce, garlic, peppercorns, onions.
Right?
So you can pretty much adobo anything.
This is the adobo shrimp?
Which is lumpia, adobong hipon. The thing with adobo is that there's really no national version of it. I mean, as long as you follow the template, then
really?
pretty much any region could have their own version of adobo. So if you go down south, they tend to put coconut milk in their adobo.
Really?
Yeah.
That is really, really great. They're good shrimp, too.
Yep.
We did well.
So I guess unofficially, adobo has become the national dish.
Right.
You know, which kind of you associate with the Philippines.
I'll tell you, this is
All yours.
really good.
Chicago is famous for many things. Not all of them are worth celebrating. I've always felt that the so-called deep dish pizza was a crime against food. It wasn't pizza at all, I believed. Instead, some kind of Midwestern mutation of a pizza. According to Louisa Chu, friend, cook, and old associate from such shows as this one, I'm right, but also wrong. There is a place, she insists, that's an exception to the rule. A deep dish pizza that even I, who hate the very idea of such a thing, will love. Down a dark suburban street in the Morton Grove neighborhood of Chicago is Berts Place.
I'm a New Yorker, and I'm a New Yorker with a deep cultural aversion to pizza that is not New York pizza.
Oh, boy, I knew we'd get one of these in here soon.
Bert Katz and his wife Sharon have been making a delightfully delicious artisanal product for over 40 years.
I'm 71, for Christ's sake, and still working like a dumbass.
Of course, I immediately love Bert and Sharon, two iconoclastic obsessives who are clearly serious about their craft and their place. But somehow it still just doesn't make sense.
I'm befuddled. Chicago-style pan pizza or deep dish pizza. What is presumably good?
Generally speaking, it's giant and filling. I mean, we're talking about like practically, you know, a casserole inside of a pizza.
So it's like a pot pie.
Exactly.
Where we can basically jam in more cheese and more filling for the herd. You know, that's not a promising beginning. I mean, I just don't understand the criteria yet, but you're telling me I will when I eat this.
You will.
It's about the crust.
It is about the crust. It is the main thing here. It's caramelized on the outside. I mean, completely around.
On the bottom and up.
Yeah, and the fillings are top-notch quality, fresh.
Fresh spinach, mushrooms, peppers, bell peppers. I get along with pizza. I don't know. We become friends. I get along with it.
He's like the chef in Paris who goes out and buys like his ingredients in small batches every single day. So
that's something an Italian would do.
Yeah.
But this is not really an Italian creation.
It's not. Bert's sort of taken like the best qualities of like a classic Italian pizza and married them with a Chicago-style deep dish pizza.
And you love this stuff.
I love it.
You love this.
I love this.
I'm still not understanding. I mean, look at those things.
Yeah.
They're gigantic. Where's all this pizza going? Well, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
These are not small people, are they?
People are crazy for this. Hundreds of die-hard fans. No less serious a food publication than Saveur put Bert's on the cover. Tonight, the place happens to be choked with handsomely plus-sized online food enthusiasts shoveling their fourth and fifth flagstone-sized portions down their magnificently nerdly gullets.
We could talk about it and we can discuss it. And
But
I think
until we eat it, it's all
And
meaningless blather.
Yeah.
I'm getting really hungry.
Me too. I'm starving.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
That's a thing of beauty. Yeah, that's really nice. I get it. I understand it now. In traditional Italian pizza and New York utility pizza, you start at the fillet in the center and you work out. This, you work in exactly the opposite direction.
Well, that's why a lot of people bring their kids in here, because kids don't eat crust, and the parents get all the crust.
Was there a burning bush moment, you know, where you decided, first, I really need to make pan pizza, and I also need to make it really, really good?
I don't think I ever thought of it. I like being my own boss. So I've worked corporate for about 6 years. I worked corporate. It was the worst years of my life.
I mean, I guess my question is you're doing good. People, I mean, cover them. Savoir, I'm sure the opportunity has arisen at some point that you could essentially walk away from the business and walk around in a sarong for the rest of your life.
I like what I do. It's my customers. I got great customers, and it takes the stress off the last 2 hours of being a nutbag in the kitchen. You can just sit and laugh and kid around. It's wonderful. Some people open a business for money. That's the wrong way. If I didn't like it, I'd walk away from it. Hands down, I'd walk away from it.
I gotta admit, I like this stuff a lot. I think my problem was just calling it pizza. Whatever this is, I like it. Chicago. There's a lot that sets this city apart from every other city in this country. A lot that you'll find here that you won't find anywhere else, and I mean anywhere. As much as it pains me to say it, there's at least one area where Chicago far surpasses New York. And given my personal obsession with this particular item, it makes it all the more difficult for me to say that yes, Chicago has, hands down, a better hot dog than New York City.
Now, anybody who's been following this show for any period of time at all knows that I love few things more than meat in tube form, and especially like local mutant forms of hot dogs.
So when I realized I'd be doing a Chicago show, the location that went to the very top of the shoot list was this place, Hot Doug's Sausage Superstore, a nirvana for lovers of meat in tube form. The menu here ranges from exotic wild game and gourmet dogs to the simple pleasures of a flawlessly prepared Chicago Red Hot.
I'm so hungry. I haven't had breakfast, I haven't had lunch, I've been like in training for this meal.
And I'm not the only one. Check out this line of locals, not tourists, but locals, waiting to get in to experience hot dog perfection.
I mean, this is kind of like, you know, Hot Dog City, and, you know, look at us, we're all standing online. It's got to say something, right?
Reigned with praise from customers, critics, and culinary insiders, Hot Doug's has routinely been ranked the best dog in Chicago and was even listed by Bon Appetit magazine as one of the 50 best restaurants on the planet. Oh, and did I mention the French fries, cooked in duck fat?
This is like the greatest thing that ever happened.
So who is responsible for all this incredible goodness? This guy, Doug Sohn.
I'm sorry, what would you like on it?
Everything? Everything.
All right.
But why hot dogs?
It all started, a friend of mine had a bad hot dog one day. And his comment was, you know, how do you make a bad hot dog? And I foolishly said, you know, I think you can, I think people do.
The bar is real high here.
Yes.
People are, I mean, there's like a lot of hot dog joints. And yet, when I started to ask around about these things, the consensus among serious foodies and more to the point, serious aficionados of the dog in all of its mutant forms was this place.
I realized there was no place that did just sausages, which was a food I love. And as the idea started forming, the concept started taking shape, and I said, well, let's see if this will fly.
And fly it did. But what differentiates a Red Hot from other dogs?
It's an all-beef, preferred natural casing hot dog. Nice beef, garlic flavor to it. Yellow mustard.
And no fancy French stuff. Got
no, exactly. Yellow mustard, neon green relish, tomatoes, onions, slice of dill pickle, and then topped with celery salt.
There you have it, a dog that is bigger than the sum of its parts. And there are a lot of parts to negotiate.
See, here's the conundrum with the Chicago-style dog. All the things that make it good to eat also make it hard to kind of hold together. Whoa. Case in point. Oh, yeah. Perfection in a dog.
And of course, what's a dog without a mountain of fries to keep it company?
Oh, yeah.
But Not just any kind of fries. I'm talking about fries decadent enough to make Elvis blush like a schoolgirl. The Rolls-Royce of fries, fried in pure rendered duck fat.
Duck fat fry? Is there a better medium for frying anything? I don't think so.
But this is merely a prologue to what is for any carnivore the ultimate inducing item on the menu.
Come to daddy.
The foie gras dog. A grilled sauterne-infused duck sausage with truffle mustard and topped with a generous piling of fresh foie gras.
Wow. That's remarkably good. Oh, man.
In Mexico City, as in any enlightened culture, street food is king. From a cart on a corner, rough additions to existing restaurants and businesses, or just a grill under a tarp, head for the streets if you're looking for the good stuff. I meet up with David Lida, author of 2 excellent books set in Mexico City and a longtime resident of 18 years. Needless to say, he's a street food enthusiast with some favorites of his own.
So where are we going now? What are we eating?
Well, there's a woman, Doña Anastasia. She makes blue corn quesadillas, and she stuffs them with lots of great stuff. You'll see, Tony. Hola, Doña.
Hola.
¿Cómo estamos?
Bien.
That does look good.
Doña Anastasia's hands grow bluer as the day wears on, forming and cooking her amazing blue corn tortillas, filling them and cooking them on her comal as she has every day for the last 8 years.
The tortillas themselves smell really good.
Yeah. These are the best tortillas in Mexico City, I think.
They smell extraordinary. They're just doing these amazing things.
Right.
This is some serious kind of fixins bar. There's sausage, brains, and beef, but David and I go for the sautéed spinach and zucchini flour.
Man.
Gracias, Doña.
The taste of this thing, sublime.
Delicious. Really good.
Él dice que está delicioso.
Delicioso. Gracias.
Ay, gracias.
Every tortilla of blue corn masa made fresh, right here, out of this world. Best tortilla ever. There's not even any pork in it. But you don't go long in Mexico City on only verduras. One must have meat, and for taco fillings, Mexico City offers a rainbow of tasty, unimaginable variety.
The fast food world tour continues. Hey, Martin.
Hey.
How you doing, buddy?
Welcome again. Hi, David.
Near the Zocalo, the main square in Mexico City, wet tacos. All those lovely choice bits bubbling away in a big pot. Tongue, brains, hooves, eyes, stomach, you name the anatomical part, and they do it, and do it well, my friends. That Zimmern dude would probably do a jackknife into that thing.
I'm going for the tongue. I'm telling you right now. Tongue, lengua.
Okay.
Dos de lengua, por favor. And for you, David, de tripa. Y dos de tripa, por favor.
We order up a couple of lenguas and some tripe, and Martin, who has a truly awe-inspiring appetite for a small guy, asks for the more adventurous options of brain and eyeball. All with a delicious sprinkling of onions, cilantro, and lettuce, and dousing of fresh salsa. Just great.
Well, you're fast, man. How's your ride?
Great. Really great.
Wow, who'd have thought? Tripe is the way to go. That's good.
¿Me regalas de tripa, por favor? Dos.
You having two more tripes? You're a party animal, man. You are a television professional. Amazing.
These things, by the way, became the constant crew meal for the entire shoot, meaning this was the preferred dining option for all of us, even when the cameras weren't rolling. That should tell you something. And look at Martin. He's had like 12 of these things.
Oh, that's good.
It's 5:30 in the morning in Mexico City and still dark outside. But Martin says we gotta get up early if we don't want to be standing online for this place. Fonda Margarita is a family-style joint, famous for its breakfast. Martin has been coming here since he was a little boy, brought here by his father, who was himself brought here by Martin's grandmother. Which is to say, the place has been serving really good food for a really long time.
Oh, that looks good. Whatever it is. Man, come on, look at that. They're getting better and better, huh?
They get better and better.
Some beans. This is like a really amazing operation.
giant earthenware cauldrons of slowly bubbling meat and beans simmering over beds of charcoal.
So how come this place is so popular? What's special about this place?
I cannot explain that. Probably is that it's normal, ordinary Mexican food. That your mother or you can eat all this.
So it's like just like mom makes.
I'm starved. I think so.
You look happy. I haven't seen you this happy since I got here.
Yeah, it's like he's so excited. Like, I'm hungry.
Best breakfast ever? Maybe. Certainly a meal I'll never forget. All the indicators of greatness. Long communal picnic tables, minimalist decor, menus on the wall. The heady aroma of what is unmistakably home cooking. We're still almost the only people in the place. I'm barely awake, but any thoughts of a light breakfast for me and Carlos are out the window as Martine proceeds to order like the entire menu.
Oh man, I can tell you, that looks good.
Huevos y frijoles, eggs and beans served straight up, or on fried tortillas for the huevos rancheros, or in a wedge-shaped heap called frijoles con huevos. It's a simple thing, you might think, but the beans. Back home, a stew might be the last thing you'd think of at this hour of the morning. But here, given the all-too-rare opportunity to range freely through all these soulful, wonderfully old-school grandma dishes.
Awesome, huh? Yeah, they really know how to cook here. It's amazing. Yeah.
Pork loin in salsa verde, beef in a dark chile sauce, pig's feet, stewed lamb, and fried chicharron pork skins in the same vibrant green tomatillo sauce. Tortitas, little pork meatballs and spicy jalapeno tomato. No way you don't want everything.
Okay, I totally get why you love this place.
You like the chicharron?
It's great. The sauces are amazing, too. This is unbelievable. It's so tender.
I'm gonna like this, I'm sure.
Yeah, you know before you even taste it, it's gonna be good. That's a good restaurant.
Yeah.
Wow.
Solamente comen los huevos, güey. Yo sin tu these eggs.
I love this.
Doesn't try anything else.
Man, looking at it, you think, it's all gonna taste the same. It doesn't. Each dish is really
so different.
You're right. Any mom would be proud to cook this.
Right? Yes, exactly.
Muy rico, señora. Todo muy, muy, muy rico. ¿Y a qué horas empiezan a cocinar? They start at 1 o'clock. So they finish everything and they start over the next morning.
Maybe the missing ingredient in the Mexican food we see way too much of in the U.S. is this: grandma's hands. Making sauce, making everything from scratch. It would be a mistake to think this is simple food. The depth of flavor and the sophisticated interplay between piquant and sweet, savory and sour, richness and acidity doesn't come easy. It's the end product of years of experience, of waking up at ungodly hours, starting up the fires, the long simmering sauces and beans, the gentle coaxing of tough shanks and shoulders into something tender and delicious.
His face.
Oh, he's so happy.
Like a little kid, man.
I know. But I mean, you think you hadn't been here in 10 years. You're so excited.
Yes.
You been here all the time?
No, yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess we've established something for sure today. There's eggs and beans, and then there's eggs and beans. I mean, they really care. I mean, they're really cooking carefully with real attention paid. This was incredible.
No, that is bomb.
This is good. This is really, really good. And I have more to do. That's unbelievable. And I gotta try some of that. We're making good headway here, guys.
Despite early concerns about our degree of hunger, we would remain until the last smudge of beans were mopped off our plates, the last bone sucked clean. If anything goes with good beer, as anyone who's ever been to an institution of higher learning knows, it's more beer. And here in the center of the world for beer, where traditionally the best of the best came from, it's worth noting in terms we can really feel where it hurts, why Soviet-style communism sucked, and what's happening here to make it all better again. 2 hours outside of Prague in the forests of western Bohemia is this brewery, until recently a collapsed, moldering shell stripped of everything by the Ivans. So what is this place?
Well, we are at Pivovar Kot na Shumavě. This is a brewery in a small village in western Bohemia.
Travel writer and international beer nerd Evan Rail has lived here for over a decade, investigating, pontificating, and drinking the great beers and ales of Europe and chronicling their return.
For beer lovers, what's most interesting is that this brewery makes the best pale lagers in the country, if not the world.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why? I mean, what do they have to do to make it so good?
Well, it basically comes down to two things. It's about the ingredients and it's about the techniques. They're using the best ingredients in the world, without a doubt.
Now, normally a brewery tour, unless you're actually drinking the stuff, is about as much fun as trying to teach a Yorkie how to pinch out an upper decker. But bear with us, beer fans. Pale Lager's, a Pilsner-style beer, is the most popular in the world. For American mass markets, we've created a thin, weak, vaguely uric quality version of the stuff. But here, much more robust.
Looks like we will be having some beer.
We call pale lagers Pilsners, but that's actually a place-specific name, like Champagne or Kobe or Parma.
So what makes the beer here good?
Well, there are only 4 ingredients in this beer, right? There's primarily water.
Right, presumably good water.
Some of the best water in the world. Most of the world's barley was originated in Moravia, the other part of the Czech Republic. They only use Czech malt, and they use only Czech hops. And the world's most expensive hops are Czech.
Pilsner-style beers need that special soft water. Less than 7 parts per million dissolved solids, to be specific. They sound like a beer commercial here, but unless you've got some underground aquifer gurgling clear, pristine water out of a forest that's been untouched by time for 3,000 years, forget about it. And if you do find that kind of a thing, be sure to ride your unicorn over and tell us all about it.
Hey, that's good.
It's a little bit bitter.
I don't know, I feel very...
nostalgic?
Yes, it's a very nostalgic taste to me for some reason.
Oh, I think the country has a certain nostalgia for beer. I mean, they've been drinking the largest amounts of beer regularly, per capita, in the world.
Even beat out the Australians?
Beat out everybody.
Wow.
And it's not even close.
Really?
They're ahead by about 30 liters per person per year.
Still, it's a pretty productive country, right?
They still seem to get some things done, yeah.
But this is a classic flavored beer, I mean, in the sense that it's not hippie beer. It doesn't taste like wheat or strawberries or, I don't like, this to me is good beer.
The Czech Republic beers are really drinkable. You can have one with a meal and enjoy your meal, and you can have one with the next meal and enjoy that. And I think the consumption here it's constant. It's not high volume. Right. It's a beer a day, every day for the rest of your life.
So it's not too early by Czech standards to be drinking beer?
Oh, no, not at all.
Good,
no.
good. So,
workers have a beer with breakfast.
And we are workers.
We are
working right now.
Touring the grounds, we end up at the malting house that dates back to the 30 Years' War, around 1648, which means its structural integrity is a concern, as Evan quickly finds out firsthand as one leg suddenly drops through the rotting floorboards and he very nearly drops to his death, or worse, beer wastage.
What's your...
Oh my God.
You okay, man?
Yeah, I'm fine, but... Oh my God.
Whoa.
That hurt.
Check yourself, man. See whether you got cut.
I didn't. I scraped myself, but I'm okay.
Yeah, you went down hard, man. Wait a minute, did you save that beer?
Yeah, I saved
You preserved the beer.
Well, I lost a little of it, but I saved the majority.
After hurriedly getting a tipsy and still in shock Evan to sign a waiver releasing us from any liability, we figure plying him with more beer is the sensible legal strategy. Hell, we'll even buy you dinner, we say. If he still remembers this unfortunate incident tomorrow, by the way, it looks like somebody is getting a fruit basket.
This is a nice place for beer in the sense that it has 6 kinds of beer on draft.
Right.
They're all from regional producers you'll never see anywhere else in Prague or outside of the country.
So they're basically exclusively here?
Yeah, these are breweries from the outskirts of Moravia or Bohemia that send in 1 keg, and they sell it until they run out of beer.
All regional beers here are ordered by number or by specific nickname.
Here the names are often animate objects, so you say, I'll have that guy.
I'll have Wally. Oh, really?
Yeah. So we're having a couple of Stevens. It's just a typical pale lager.
No, that's excellent.
It's excellent. Yeah, it's a good daily drinker.
More beer, a sea of golden ambrosia, bubbles, and pork. A regular feature of everyday life here and a specialty of this place is the colonel, a mighty pork knuckle or shank, not known as making for light eating. Served in all its austere simplicity with red cabbage and horseradish on the side, a nice, astringent counterpoint to the generous amount of fat you're going to be shoving into your gob.
How much did you get? You got a weight on it. It says how many grams. Really? I got almost 1,300 grams, 2.5 pounds.
Wow. That's an impressive looking hunk of meat.
How much do you think you can finish?
Every scrap.
Okay, do you want some of mine? Because I've got extra.
No.
Colonel means knee, but this ain't a knee. Knees don't have meat on them, and this thing most certainly does. Calf is what we're talking about here, and this one's about the size of a medium-sized battalion.
It's not haute cuisine, but it goes with beer.
Well, that's delicious and moist.
Well, there are connoisseurs who will drive across the country for their favorite.
Really?
Yeah, some small pub out in the boondocks that makes a particularly good one. And it's definitely one of the country's favorite meals, probably because it goes so well with beer.
Are you eating your skin?
I am eating my skin. I'm eating all the goo and all the skin. And you're just going to clear the whole thing? Straight through?
I'm confident I'll make it.
Just keep digging.
Going all the way, man.
You're not going to make it. You've got all that goo to eat.
No.
That's just pure fat and skin.
You're not making it sound appetizing, man. I mean, I was enjoying myself.
I was selling this.
Yeah, I'm going to be feeling funky fresh when I flop into bed later.
And
flatulent.
Add 3 or 4 or 5 more beers to this stegosaurian-sized hunk of meat and bone, and you can pretty much delete the word svelte from the list of words you'll need to know for the rest of your life.
What's going on here?
Wait a minute, what the hell is that? Behold the giraffe. And that is just plain wrong. The ultimate in accessories.
Oh, this is called a giraffe. And a giraffe is a 4-liter portion of beer. That's 8 half liters, 8 beers.
I'm looking at that and I'm seeing 3 trips to the bathroom.
It is kind of a way to scare everyone in the bar off, though. I mean, I don't think the ladies over there are looking over and going, those guys are wearing that.
I mean, clearly your ability to maintain anything resembling an erection is in inverse proportion to the amount
of the...
Here, right. Where, on the other hand, the likelihood that you will go home and pee in your sock drawer is rising.
Just make your girlfriend a mixtape. You don't need to drink the beer.